Hello everyone, welcome to MzansiOz. My name is Connie. If you're new here, you're very much welcome. So we're still unpacking the video of Donald Trump and Cyril Ramaphosa. We're specifically now moving to Cyril Ramaphosa's comment that I think this comment he's going to regret it. And as soon as I heard him say this, and I thought, yeah, this not going to go down well in South Africa. And let's listen to that comment that he made when Donald Trump asked him about why Julius Malema isn't arrested chanting they kill the Boer. And I told you that it's not illiteral, it is actually ending apartheid. It is a struggle song that was sang during apartheid era South Africa. So Ramaphosa helped actually make some recommendation to South Africa's constitution. All right, nonetheless, let's listen to that specific comment that I'm talking about so we can come back and discuss it. Okay, let's listen.
Clarify that. Yeah, let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
I also want to just say this, that the two individuals that are in that video that you've seen are both leaders of opposition minority parties in South Africa. Umkhonto weSizwe under Mr. Zuma and the economic freedom fighters under Mr. Malema. Now the reason that my party, the Democratic Alliance, which has been an opposition party for over 30 years, chose to join hands with Mr. Ramaphosa's party was precisely to keep those people out of power. We cannot have those people sitting in the union buildings making decisions. And that is why after 30 years of us exchanging barbs across the floor in Parliament and trying to get one over on each other, we've decided to join hands precisely to keep that lot out of government. Because the day they get in to the doors of the union buildings in South Africa or control of our Parliament, that's what you're going to see. And that is why this government, working together, needs the support of our allies around the world so that we can strengthen our hand, grow our economy, and shut the door forever on that rabble getting through the doors of the union buildings, because then South Africa's future would be...
So you denounced that type of language in the video that you saw?
Oh yes, we've always done so. As government, as my own party, we are completely opposed to that. We, in 1955, adopted a document which said South Africa belongs to all who live in it.
But why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, kill the white farmers, kill the white farmers. And then he danced, and he's dancing, and it's kill the white farmers. I'm not sure, but I think if somebody got up in Parliament and started saying, kill a certain group of people, he would be arrested.
Now that you've listened to this comment from Ramaphosa, the issue here is, let's just be clear here. Let's be clear. President Ramaphosa has stated that he and his party ANC are opposed to this behavior, meaning the chant, kill the Boer. Now, he's made it known that the party, ANC, does not endorse it as a form of political expression, right? Right. But that's not an issue here. The issue is that Donald Trump asked why Julius Malema hasn't been arrested. Ramaphosa, President of South Africa, under the South African Constitution, had a constitutional obligation, not just a political one, to say why. South Africa has a Bill of Rights, and that Bill of Rights protects the freedom of expression. And in 2023, like I said, the Constitutional Court, the highest court in the land in South Africa, equivalent to our High Court here in Australia, also equivalent to the American, Supreme Court, had ruled that the chant, which I explained in the video before, prior to this, when used in historical and protest context, is not a hate speech. And chanting is also part of cultural, indigenous South African expression. Right? Now, Ramaphosa could have explained that opposing the chant politically does not make it illegally. He could have stood up for the South African Constitution. He helped to write. He wrote this thing and clarified this for the global audience, that South Africa is not criminalizing protest culture, which is what we've seen with America right now. Donald Trump is out there criminalizing protests in America, literally doing that. And the land of the free is no longer land of the free under Donald Trump 2.0. So he could have actually made this very clear that this, even though some people might translate it the way it says, it doesn't imply literally, and it's actually a song that was, sang during, it's a chant actually, it's not a song, it's a chant that was echoed during apartheid era. So some political party believe, like EFF, believe that this is still relevant to them for their political messaging. Opposing the chant does not make it illegal. All right? Instead, what he did, his silence allowed Trump and the Western media to frame the chant as a racial hate crime rather than as what it is. What it is right now, it's a provocative form of political resistance rooted in apartheid era struggle. You can oppose a chant politically and still defend it constitutionally. And this is what these people have failed to do, have failed to oppose the chant politically as part of their political messaging for them, but it's within them to actually defend it constitutionally. It's within Ramaphosa to defend it constitutionally. But he failed to do that. And that is one of the major problems that I felt as a South African expert, I felt very uncomfortable when I was listening to that video. When he said that, I felt uncomfortable and actually also felt very much offended by what John Steenhuisen said from the DA, the Agriculture Minister, when he said it's a reason why the ANC and the DA came together, are united in opposing EFF and MKP and referring to them as those lots. And that is actually really raised my concern about democratic exclusion, especially in the context of the government of national unity that's meant to be inclusive. All right? So in defending his party, John Steenhuisen said that he and the ANC united in their opposing to those lots, referring to EFF and MK party, two opposition parties backed by millions of South African voters. That is a concern that I have here. A government of national unity, it's meant to reflect, all right, the will of the people, not just the preference of political elites. Like all been saying, this is not a government of national unity. This is the coalition of DA and ANC. There's no government of national unity here. All right, this is very clear here in this statement for both of them what they said. You know, the EFF and MK party represent a significant portion of the electorate. Then saying you are in a unity to exclude them isn't unity at all. It's a coalition gatekeeping. What the DA is in with the ANC, it's a coalition gatekeeping. Because you can't say you're in a government of national unity in order to exclude the two major opposition parties, both of them combined. Probably both of them combined could be as the same voter share for DI if we combine the voters for both of these two major parties. If you combine them both and you say you are with them to exclude them, that's not government of national unity. That is a coalition gatekeeping. This language frames dissenting black politician voices, especially radical or working class one, which Malema represent working class South African, mostly black South Africans. There's still white South African in his party, but be it minority, but they are like that. As you know, he's framing these two parties as illegitimate, dangerous, unfit for governance. That's not constitutionalism. That is fear of losing control. And as a consequence of this, EFF has responded to this. And the response of EFF is actually even far rapid. It's really far worse. All right, it's actually far worse. Let's listen to EFF speak.
Said before she died, that will be a betrayal to the struggle of our people. Comrades, when they say stop singing, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, they are going to say to you, stop demanding the land. Because you are offending white people. Don't talk about the land. When you stop the land, they say black people must go back to Bantu education. There must be African schools. When you say no, they say no, that is not allowed. Ramaphosa could not present the facts in front of Donald Trump. You've got a coward president. He left here. Ariana, he won't be bullied. When he arrived there, he was shaking. Atatazela, Achaba Donald Trump, another president scared of another president. Donald Trump said to him, when you say farmers, you mean white people. He kept quiet. Farmers do not mean white people. They are black farmers. They are white farmers. Ramaphosa is a farmer himself. He should have said to Donald Trump, no, farmers are not white. I'm a farmer myself. I am not white. Why didn't he present that simple fact before Donald Trump? Why didn't he say, there are so many people killed in South Africa, and majority of them are blacks. There is no white genocide in South Africa. Bammonchatsila with crosses, he opens his eyes in shock. I know South Africa with my eyes closed. He's unable to tell Donald Trump that is not a picture of South Africa. This picture does not belong to us. We don't have mass graves of white people in South Africa. Comrades, Donald Trump says to him, hey Ramaphosa, Donald Trump says to him, hey Ramaphosa, why are you not arresting this Julius Malema? Why is this Julius Malema not in jail? He can't respond with a simple fact that this song killed the Boer, killed. He failed to defend the Constitutional Court. By failing to defend the Constitutional Court, it means he failed to protect the Constitution.
As you have heard, this statement from both of them, the DA, John Steenhuisen, and Cyril Ramaphosa, it raises a very serious question politically for both of these two parties, because, as I've said before, these two parties are supported by millions of South Africans, and they have every right to participate in shaping the South Africans' future, South Africa's future, whenever they feel fit. So Ramaphosa could have used that moment on a global stage to educate, to clarify, and to defend the constitution he helped to write. He helped to write. Instead, silenced, allowed misinformation to spread, and left space for political elites to exclude voices they find inconvenience. That's not democratic unity, that's elite gatekeeping. So this, absolutely, you can bookmark this video. I think in the next election, we like to see EFF and MK party to rise up. They're going to have more vote. It's going to be, people are going to now go towards them. And especially now that EFF has responded to it and responded with savage to Ramaphosa, really savage in his response to Ramaphosa's appearance there. And another thing that's waiting for them that's likely to be a problem is this thing that's been touting on social media about relaxing the laws in South Africa, the equity laws in South Africa, that nearly all the parties, including the ANC themselves, are opposed to it. Then you then start to ask yourself, is Ramaphosa a president representing his party's interest, or is he been captured by Rupert, as EFF said? He's been captured. So I don't know. It's a little bit difficult now if that is true, because within the ANC there's also a fraction, some faction within the ANC that do not like Ramaphosa. So I don't know if this is true. He signed some deals, and then they're probably opposed to the ANC's agenda. And this to do with Elon Musk, who's not liked by many South Africans, not even a single South African liked Elon Musk, except if you are a white nationalist, a white supremacist in South Africa, you would definitely like Elon Musk. If he signed anything to do with Elon Musk, the Starlink, without even going to the parliament, is likely to be another one that's going to be removed by ANC. I don't think he'll finish his term. Nah, I don't think he will. And also the fact that both of them went in there and disparaged political parties who should actually participate in South Africans' democracy. Even if you think you don't agree with you may not agree with their policies, but they are elected by millions of South Africans, right? So doing this is actually, it makes it a little bit difficult, because now EFF's Julius Malema will likely to become so prominent in South Africa now. And now he's rising. You can see him rise. I can see Julius Malema rise. It's rising to the level of Ibrahim Traore. Definitely I can see him rising now because of this, what they did at the White House. The two of them. When you are out there, if you are a political party, if you're out there outside internationally, whether you agree with your opponent or not, you are there to defend the Constitution. You're not there to say, hey, Master come here, I don't agree with them. I don't agree with these people. They are not my. It's actually sounded than them excluding themselves from the South African Constitution, from the South African people. That they were actually grouping themselves there as elite. Actually, they lost the opportunity to defend that very constitution, especially Ramaphosa as a president. But it's equally very important even for DA. So I don't see them gaining any votes in the next couple of elections, especially DA anyway, with this stuff about AfriForum and all of them, and dog whistling, and then starting later when they see that the South African did not like the idea that they were, increasing this rhetoric about, white farmer stuff, and not actually straight away coming out and saying, we don't agree with your rhetoric. They came later to say there's no genocide in South Africa when they realized that a lot of South Africans were starting to be upset and angry about it. That's when they started to say, oh, okay, we don't agree. But even with that defense of not actually explaining to Donald Trump, there's just nothing. There's no genocide of people in South Africa, white people in South Africa. This is the myth, the made up stuff. So the sentiment about this visit for Ramaphosa doesn't look good. For DA, it's even worse. The person that got a little bit more points was actually, believe me or not, was Rupert. Rupert got more points, and I'll probably do another video and tell you what Rupert got it right there and there. Even though, it wasn't his position to say, he actually defended more South Africa. He became more patriotic than the two, Ramaphosa and the DA. And I'll probably talk about that, why Johan Rupert, was more patriotic than the DA and Ramaphosa. Which statement he made that actually resonated a lot than the two political parties. And that's the problem. That's your main problem, South Africa, you have. That's why ANC has been able to rule South Africa for so many years. It's because we do not have an opposition. We just don't have good opposition at all. No, there's no good opposition in South Africa. That's why we are stuck with these two parties as like hopeless, actually. It's going to be, even after 4.5 years, it's still going to be this coalition in South Africa. I don't see it changing anytime soon, until to the point there is actually a party that actually resonates with all South Africans. At the moment, ANC failed to deliver with the key issues around land reform, and also a lot of stuff. ANC, even with the programs, the equity programs that they have, the BBEE something, that thing, it's not fit for purpose. It needs to be reviewed. So it should be reviewed, not because it's Elon Musk. We're not reviewing it because of Elon Musk, and you don't gonna give Elon Musk a pass because the laws haven't changed. But the review of it needs to be in consultation with the citizens, because of what I've seen in the past, that it is actually benefiting people who who don't even need it, who actually should not even have actually applied for it. People, it should be really specific, to be honest. It should be around specific group. If you have not been a person, it should actually based on the socio-economical status. It should be around the apartheid. So if a person's the parents or one of the parents were born and raised in South Africa, and they grew up around the apartheid era South Africa, then those people should be the priority. You can't get people who've lived elsewhere and then they move back into South Africa after the end of apartheid. They shouldn't be benefiting from this, even if they are South African citizens. It should be people who were actually were living in South Africa up to 1994, and you could trace their relatives or their parents during the apartheid era. If their parents can't be traced to the apartheid era of South Africa, then they shouldn't qualify for any BBEE initiative programs. And you need to narrow it so it's very tailored and very specific for addressing this inequity. That's a problem. It's been abused. It's been abused. It looks very much like it's been abused by a lot of people. So We can have a conversation about that, but not now because Elon Musk is involved. For Elon Musk, doesn't matter. I don't care if the Starlink is the best internet service that's available. You should never have anything to do with that, Elon Musk, because if you haven't really watched what happened to Ukraine, if you don't learn about what he did to the Ukraine, how he threatened them in the midst of the war, and you're going to have a Starlink? Nah, never. No Starlinks. Starlinks Rupert's the only thing I differ with him is the Starlinks. We don't need Starlinks in South Africa. I mean, you can get drones everywhere. There are drones that are made in China that are very cheaper and better than the American drones. I mean, in fact, those drones that America have, they're actually made in China. So why you have to pay so much money? He probably said it because he wanted to impress Donald Trump. But Starlink, you should not have anything to do with Starlink because of how he treated other governments, including Ukraine, in the midst. The way he threatens people, the way he can't separate business and his political opinion, that's a big problem. So you should not have anything to do with him. Even if you think he was there, you should not have this person. You should not endorse his behavior. He can continue to spread this misinformation and people out there who believe him and whatever. But I think people who've got full functioning brain, they know that he's just bluffing. Thank you guys for listening. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Press the like button, notification bell, and please comment and be respectful when you comment. See you guys.